Submit yourselves, for the Lord's sake, to every authority instituted among men, whether to the king as the supreme authority, or to governors who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to commend those who do right. 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 13 and 14. I've been teaching recently on the subject of rendering to Caesar what is Caesar's. And I could see that quite clearly, as this is discussed, that this passage in 1 Peter and the cognate passages in Titus and in Romans would inevitably come into the conversation. So here we are. The problem is not taking the scriptures literally, which we always should. The problem is that we must discuss the scriptures in their full context. And the context of this discussion is usually conducted with one glaring absence. And that absence I am addressing in the series on the incident where Jesus was asked whether they should pay taxes, from which we get the famous render to Caesar what is Caesar's, which is correct. But there is a glaring piece left out. And where we should be discussing two categories and how these two categories relate to each other, the conversation becomes about one category. And granted, the discussion that Peter is having in this passage is only about one category. If he is thinking of the other category at all, which I would presume that he is, it is left unspoken as something that we should all understand. But he does not mention it. Granted, in this passage, no other category is mentioned. The category being discussed is the power of Caesar, the Latin Kaiser, which we say Caesar. When there is one category existing, as it were, in a vacuum, well, nature abhors a vacuum, as it is said. And so that category expands to fill the entire universe that it is in, which is why it is important when we discuss this to keep in mind that there are two categories under discussion. And for that, I will refer you to the discussion on rendering to Caesar what is Caesar's, and the continuation of that discussion, where I will address the question of what is being left out here.